Peace and blessings, everybody. Anna Renee, your love power goddess, your sacred word priestess, and your doula of divine transformation. And I'm coming to you all today from the Ascensionaires Club. And I am grateful once again that you all have come out to meet me and let us all learn together who we truly are from the wisdom of the ages, okay, which is astrology, one of the wisdoms of the ages. It teaches so much. It is so good when the astrologer knows what they are doing, and they are not just staying at the surface level dealing with horoscopes, but dealing instead with the true astrology, especially as it pertains to relationships, relating to others, relating to yourself. That's where we really need as much help as we can get so that we can just be better. Okay. And so that's why I read from this book, Do It Yourself Relationship Astrology by Lynn Birkbeck. It's a fabulous book. It's a very thick book. It's got a huge amount of information in it. If I were, like I said before, to sit down and study this book, maybe take a year off and just focus totally on this book. By the time the end of the year came about, I would be fabulous. I would be so strong as it pertains to dealing with relationship astrology, which is a particular type of astrology. Not a whole lot of people do this kind of relationship astrology. People do love astrology, partnership astrology, but this is more understanding yourself so that you can relate to others no matter who they are or how they might have issues. Their issues don't interfere with you. You can still deal with them, no matter your sign. It doesn't matter. If you understand these things, that's why I love this. And right now, I'm going to be reading Cancer rising and Capricorn setting. And then I will read Capricorn rising and Cancer setting. They are opposites from each other. We know that about Cancer and Capricorn because there's the Tropic of Cancer, the Tropic of Capricorn. In it has something to do with the planet Earth. Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Cancer, which is also referred to as the Northern Tropic, is the most northerly circle of latitude on Earth at which the sun can be directly overhead. This occurs on the June solstice when the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun to its maximum extent. It also reaches 90 degrees below the horizon at the solar midnight on the December solstice, which I think must be called the Tropic of Capricorn, uh, which is coming up in a week, less than a week. Okay, let me see if that's what it's called. I used to, when I was a kid learning about that stuff, I thought that was so strange. Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer. Tropic of Capricorn. And of course, the Tropic of Capricorn is the Southern Tropic. The tropic is the circle of latitude that contains the subsolar point at the December or southern solstice. It is thus the southernmost latitude where the sun can be seen directly overhead. It also reaches 90 degrees below the horizon at solar midnight on June solstice. Its northern equivalent is the Tropic of Cancer. And then they show these pictures of our wonderful earth. Okay. It all has to do with astrology, interestingly enough. But anyway, Cancer rising and Capricorn setting. The self, and we're talking about Cancer rising self, the carer or the cowerer, and the other, which would be Capricorn setting, the worldly one or the wet blanket. Okay. The interaction and cowerer. Someone who cowers is someone who hides. Okay. You are all feelers, Cancer. Picking up the emotional climate around you with an instinctual ease. It can seem at times that you are purely response and reaction to whoever you are with or wherever you are. This can result in your not being at all sure whether it is your feeling or someone else's. In any event, you have to respond in some way, usually giving care or sympathy or needing it, or you simply withdraw into your famous shell until it is safe to come out again. Okay. With such moodiness being the hallmark of your identity, you are inclined to attract an other who is more emotionally controlled, restrained, or repressed, even. They may also be somewhat older than you, biologically or psychologically, and therefore more adult or worldly. Other provides you with the equipment and the technique that make it possible to function in the adult world, to function in the harsh material world at which your childlike persona can blanch. It's noisy. My people, this is real noisy. They're doing some work over there. All right. My neighbor moved out. So they're fixing the place up for the next one to come in. And the banging that they're doing, I don't know what that's about. Anyway, we can handle it. We can handle it. All right. Let me start a little bit again. With such moodiness being the hallmark of your identity, you are inclined to attract an other who is more emotionally controlled, restrained, or repressed, even. They may also be somewhat older than you, biologically or psychologically, and therefore more adult or worldly. Other provides you with the equipment and technique that make it possible to function in the harsh material world at which your childlike persona can blanch. If others' more mature stance appears cold or calculating to you, though, you will give a commensurate display of fearfulness and or withdrawal. Cancer rising. Okay. Shadow is equal to impersonality, Cancer rising. Your dreamy, sensitive, and sentimental response to life makes you react negatively to anything that appears to be coldly realistic and unfeeling. But that is often all it is, a reaction that interprets a businesslike and objective approach to things as being alien and unfamiliar, and therefore uncaring. Such a subjective response has at its root a feeling of insecurity that has your mother, father, and childhood as the reason behind it. Take a step back and see that this impersonal attitude is the very objectivity, seriousness, and sober sense of purpose that you need to learn and acquire so as to feel more safe and secure in the world. Okay. Style of relationship, Cancer rising. You require a traditional type of relationship where each of you has a clear sense of their role and position in it. This may feel restrictive and limiting at first, but eventually and paradoxically, this feeling of having and knowing your boundaries and responsibilities is what makes you feel secure and protected enough to go out and explore your potential and make the most of yourself. An open, easy come, easy go kind of relationship would not give you this. As the Chinese proverb says, limitation is the key to freedom. I never heard that before. Okay. Now, when you are alone, Cancer rising, it is very likely because you have not accepted the limitations or lessons of a relationship in the way outlined above. Without doing this, a relationship or other can wither on the vine. Seeking some kind of unrealistic freedom can be the culprit behind this. And the reason behind that can be a very basic and unconscious distrust of finding any other whom you can rely upon at all. Alternatively, not taking a tough enough impersonal stance with other can leave you feeling emotionally exhausted, if not on your own. The moon is your ruling planet, and Saturn is the other's ruling planet. And so, of course, I'm going to read the opposites. All right. So, Capricorn rising in Cancer setting. What can they learn from each other? Okay. And of course, the Capricorn self is the worldly one or the wet blanket, and the Cancer other is the carer or the cowerer. That's a hard word to even say. Cowerer. You approach virtually everything and everyone in a tactical, business-like manner. Capricorn rising. You certainly do not lead with your feelings. You generate an aura of material, political awareness, and if anything needs organizing, you'll be the first to offer, or rather, start doing so without even being asked. Life to you is something to be managed and controlled. So when it comes to emotionally relating or social interplay, you're not exactly one to let rip and let your hair down. Dependability and respectability are what you have on offer, not passion and drama. This is not to say that you have no sense of fun, but even that would have a certain limit placed upon it. Other cannot help but respond to all of this serious grown up stuff in a commensurately emotional, childlike, and needy fashion. Either that or you are not about to get much response at all other than an equally restrained display. Hopefully, then, other, which would be Cancer setting, will get you to melt and loosen up a bit and appreciate that life can be a soulful adventure and not a matter of fact affair where you squash other at one sign too many of playful romanticisms or unscripted unworldliness. This would be a mistake because you need their caring, sympathetic, and comparatively immature input to get past your tough hide of an exterior. Ooh, Cancer. Ooh, y'all. Capricorn, y'all rough and tough with your Afro puffs. All right, Shadow. And I got a lot of Capricorn in my chart. A lot. My Jupiter is even in Capricorn, and my Saturn is in Capricorn too. But still, Sagittarius is too legit to quit. So I still have a lot of uh, my Sagittarius nature, even though it's just been layered heavily with Capricorn, being that I'm on the cusp. All right, the shadow for Capricorn rising is naivete. You live in a dread of losing the control of keeping what's really on the inside becoming visible on the outside. You feel that to appear unworldly or naive would amount to some kind of self demolition. And because you are petrified of letting this child in you show, okay, what you see as that guileless part of you becomes increasingly like a time bomb of a baby that one day is going to ball the house down. This means that if you do not confess to having that naive and innocent part of you, the part which other truly loves, a time will come when it causes you to make the very gaffe that destroys what you have so painstakingly built up. You're so grown, Capricorn. But there's a baby inside of you, okay? Don't let it bawl because don't nobody want to hear that. Ain't nobody got time for that, all right? Let the baby come out and play. Cancer will love it. Anyway, style of relationship. A home from home traditional type of relationship where you and other know each other. Wait a minute. Where you and other each know your respective roles, duties, and boundaries. Let me start over. A home from home traditional style of relationship where you and other each know your respective roles, duties, and boundaries. Family values and sentimentality should be the lifeblood of your relationship. If such appears claustrophobic to you, Capricorn rising, or just doesn't seem to happen in this day and age, then you must be still on some wide arc of self discovery that will lead back to this basic setup. One day soon or far off. You got to release and relax and be young at heart. Okay. When alone, it is because you have yet to realize that relationships are born and maintained in the unconscious mind, that very pool of emotions and longings which you work so hard to keep under control. You are like a dam that holds all the water in to generate power but for material use, but without any natural flow which would bring about fertility and growth. Open the sluices, release your emotions, relinquish control, surrender your fears. He's good. Saturn is your ruling planet. The moon is the other's ruling planet. Okay, my people, peace and love. Anna Renee, your love power goddess, sacred word priestess, and doula of divine transformation coming at you right again at the Ascensionaires Club. This is good stuff. This will help us to understand ourselves just that much better. It will be beneficial to how you relate to yourself and to others. Just this little bit of information. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough to open up your heart, to tap into your opposite side, which you do have. They're calling it the shadow, but it's there. Allow it some space. All right, my people. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you all.